here at Terra Nova. I'm Karen O'Connor, and I'm joined by Sinead Maynard. Sinead, thanks for joining me. You had a nice ride this morning.
Yeah, I had a couple good goes around the course this morning, and now I get to spend the afternoon watching everybody else do their thing.
Well, it's kind of a fun place to be in a way, especially in a beautiful property like this. This is the Terra Nova Equestrian Center, and they welcome you to its inaugural competition. We are about to be underway of the CCI4 Star, so I thought, Sinead, we'd get right into it. We do need to bring you up to date on the final results after the second day of the open preliminary that just finished. So, Sinead, you want to run us through that?
Yeah, so have you gone through all the 2 stars and all of that? Or
yes, more or less, yes.
More or less, okay.
As it came up.
Perfect. So right now in the preliminary, we have Leslie Law and Shersheen Ice in the lead, followed closely by Joe Meyer, and then Leslie Grant Law in 3rd place. And I think a lot of this was, it looks like we have a lot of clean cross-country rides, but the time has been exceptionally hard to make.
Time is hard to make, and it's very influential.
Yeah. The whole first part of the course and part of the track, and it'll be the same here on the 4-star, it gets you going and galloping, but then they're just all around the water complex and the VIP. It's just jump, turn, complex, and it feels like there's a lot of meat in the middle of the course,
Sure.
and if you get down on the clock, it's hard to catch back up.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how the time here on the 4-star track works out. But the footing's fabulous. Were you out? Did you walk around out there this morning?
I did. The footing's great.
Yeah, I think they've got tons of irrigation. It's pretty unbelievable, actually.
Yeah.
So it got a little hard and crispy yesterday afternoon. We have not had any rain, but we're so fortunate here at events like this that we can kind of create the rain.
Well, the entire course is irrigated.
Yeah.
And I understand why you wanted me to reiterate the 1-star and the 2-star, because of course you're winning the 1-star.
Oh, that actually wasn't my intention.
On Old Court Graph and Dance, and your husband Tick is winning the 2-star.
Yeah.
And that is really exciting to see him winning on Galileo. Mm-hmm. And so we need to move on to the 4-star. This 4-star course is going to start in just a second. We've got a course that is 3,600 meters with an optimum time of 6 minutes and 19 seconds. The speed out on the course is 570, and that's an average speed, which means that between the jumps, the horses on this type of terrain are going to have to be going quite quick.
Yeah, and I'm going to say, we have 16 horses going. Ooh, I think, I don't know if we're going to have one inside the time. We're going to have
a bet?
Yeah,
okay.
Come on, man.
Let's do it. All right, so I think let's look at the scores for this division.
Well, and have it be known, there's a lot of prize money here, too. It's not one for just
you're not just doing it for the heck of it. Sarah Murphy is in the lead after the dressage on a 26.1. On her heels is Leslie Law, who's having a very good day already on 27.2. And he is also on 3rd on a 29.5. Just outside the 30 mark, 30.1 is Kyle Carter on Ready or Not. Jenny Jarnstrom Dennis is on a 30.8, and she's just had a cracking good ride on her other horse in the open preliminary. Robin Walker is in 6th on a 31.7. Elise Wallace, Joe Meyer, Zach Brandt. These are all great riders. Nilson De Silva, Joe Meyer again, Megan Maranovich. Mark Grandia, very good cross-country rider. Missy Miller, that lovely horse of hers, Quinn. Victoria Garland, that is another just a wonderful horse. And finishing up is Madeline Scott on Crosby's Gold. So these are all some really good horses, but I would say it is going to be difficult to make the time. I see Leslie, but I also, Sarah Murphy, she knows this land probably as good as anybody.
That's true. I'm gonna say we're gonna get one inside the time, and it's gonna be Leslie.
Okay. Let's see. What will I say?
How about I let you know my response in 1 hour?
No. Nah. I'll say there'll be one inside the time also. And I'll say that's going to be Jenny Jarnstrom.
Oh, okay. There we go. I like it. You've heard it straight from the horse's mouth, ladies and gentlemen. So it looks like we have Leslie. We've got a shot of the warm-up here, and the venue laid out is actually, I was thinking this morning, it's very efficient. It is quite a long walk from the stabling up to the warm-up, but we were actually chatting about that earlier, Karen, and
Sure.
It kind of actually gets the horses mentally and physically warmed up on the way up there.
Well, and we were talking about the very young horses and how sometimes the hardest jump is getting to the first fence because they haven't gone out away from the stable, and so it actually helps those horses in a way.
I think we were saying that as my horse was parked, not moving towards the jump.
Had the Ice Princess stance.
Yeah, and you stopped on your golf cart.
I said, you need some help here? And she goes, no, she just needs a moment.
She's a girl, and she just needs a second. So yeah, we've got all of our jump crew out there. They've had an amazing ground crew around here. Yesterday I was walking and I saw 2 or 3 gentlemen on golf carts and gators driving around the course, making sure there are no holes, picking up any random branches. I mean, it looks like a golf course out here.
It's just a beautiful backdrop to, here we are. We're sitting in a booth with a lot of IT electronics, and we're looking over at a vast amount of land and beautiful jumps, and, they've brought in the best of the best people around the globe to help this inaugural celebration.
Yeah, and again, it was something we were chatting about yesterday. This we're in Florida, and this ground is incredibly flat. Like, we don't have the terrain that we're going to have up in Virginia or Pennsylvania or Maryland, but at the same time, there are tracks all over the world that are in similar situations. You've got Buccolo, you've got Lemulin, which are all fairly flat tracks, and one of the things that we're getting really spoiled with now in North America is having these great venues, and we have the opportunity to prep for the events that we need to. So, this event is going to be a real showcase, real wonderful event to get your horse used to, atmosphere, big bright fences. I mean, we can tell from even the lower levels the time you really have to get going out of the box. So,
and I know that I think in the calendar it's 2 years in 2023 they're going to have the 4-star long in November, or 2024. I'm not sure which year, but they're already working towards a long format, and that's very exciting to have that here in Florida at the end of the year, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, again, it's just an awesome feat. I mean, don't they have like something starter through or beginner novice through 4-star here?
Every division is offered. So yesterday, cool. A couple of the super cute kids on ponies were stealing the show from the other arena where the 4-star short was going on. And, it's just lovely to see, a 7 or 8 year old child on a pony. Yeah. Struggling with the posting trot, and next door is a top rider
struggling with the sitting trot.
That is not what I was going to say. Finessing the details of the flying change, I was going to say.
Just saying.
That's funny. We also have a really incredible charity competition going on here, and all of the riders that are in the competition are all part of one of 3 teams. They're the 3 charities, and I think that's a pretty cool situation as well.
Yeah, definitely. And it also gets the community involved, and I think there's a few events in Florida, I know Red Hills is one of them as well, that really utilizes the community and gets people out and involved. And I mean, I know that they had the tailgates up by the water sold out already. I mean, there's nothing more available there, so to get the spectators out and people out watching is pretty awesome.
Yeah. So the 3 charities that all the riders are on, they are Meals on Wheels, Plus of Manatee. They're the Southeastern Guide Dogs. And the third one is, they call it SMART, and it's the Sarasota Manatee Association for Riding Therapy. And these are wonderful, wonderful charities. Yeah. Everyone benefits. All the riders' scores are added up, and obviously the best score is the one that's the lowest score, and that charity gets $10,000,
which is amazing.
Amazing. And the second place charity gets, I think, $5,000, and the third place gets $2,500. So no one loses in this situation, and it's wonderful.
And I think they're really leading the way for other organizers coming and see creative ways to actually give back to the community, to be a part of the community, to give back, and there's a real back and forth there.
Well, it's a very innovative idea, and it's for the first time actually in equestrian sport we are witnessing a unique charity rider competition that involves all the competitors. And the riders are coming in as teams to benefit one of those 3 charities, and it'll be very, very exciting to see how it all shakes down.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're still waiting for the first horse. I think the horses are ready, but I think that they've moved the fence judges around and they're doing some of the technical things that just are giving us a little bit more time to talk about Terra Nova.
We could just chat a little bit more. Are you getting the flies?
Yeah, I think the ant just crawled across. But I'm seeing that you're on Meals. You and Tick are on Meals on Wheels.
Yeah, it's like they know we like
You like to eat. That's very funny.
Exactly. So we'll see how that all shakes up. We, again, are getting a good shot down there in the warm-up. You can see Nielsen trotting around, and they've been doing a good job out there. So in the warm-up, they've got every available jump from skinnies to big tables to small jumps, and that way the horses get a good opportunity to, before they head out on their track, to kind of make sure they get a proper warm-up. And I think, you know, the warm-up is an interesting thing. At the 4-star level, the horses are going to have to be pretty sharp and pretty thoughtful, and so as a rider, you know, I've always found you kind of, or have heard, you jump as little as you can, but as much as necessary, right? Like getting them in tuned enough and prepared enough to get out on this track.
And in the warm-up, I think at the upper levels, every jump counts in the warm-up. You know, you want to jump something that has a little bit of size that you go quickly to. You want to have a short turn to a jump. You want to have a short departure from a jump. You want to angle a jump. And then, of course, now they have skinnies out there for you to jump, and they've got some good solid cross-country jumps to warm up over, and that's very influential and important also.
Yep, exactly. And then you've kind of got your younger riders or your amateurs and young horses that sometimes need to jump a few jumps to actually just jump off the nerves and kind of jump around a little bit and get warmed up that way. So, you know, they've really done a good job of providing what the horses and riders need to go out and have a successful trip around the cross country.
So they are finishing the warm-up of the first few horses, it looks like. You know, you'll know when they've been given the all clear, because you'll see a lot of the first few horses start to gallop around again.
Exactly.
I think they're all sort of walking at the moment.
Exactly.
We have 27 jumps on this 4-star course. We have that nice, beautiful warm-up jump that's over by the warm-up arenas, and then you jump into the arena. It's really pretty cool to do that, isn't it? It reminds me of Lemoulin.
Yeah, it is. It's really nice. And I mean, it kind of has a cool feel around here as well, because the horses have all been here for 2 days at least. So they've all kind of settled in, and it's got a nice hack path around, so you can kind of hack right up actually towards the water jump and get the horses around there and hacking around in the footing, and it creates a really nice show for the spectators as well. But you know, you can see all the horses look pretty settled in. It's hard to imagine all these horses walking around so quietly are going to be going at, 600 meters per minute.
They'll be going quick as they come past us. And where we are sitting is sort of at the back third of the course. There's quite a good series of jumps. We have the last line. We have the 20th fence is a set of gates. 20AB with a mound, and then they turn away from us and jump a cabin, and then there's a very influential 23AB oxer to a corner, and the corner's quite open, and that will be really, I think, interesting, because a lot of riders, they had a good approach to it, and then they decided that the riders needed more angle, so the officials put some straw bales in your line, and they made it harder, so some of the riders are wondering if they should go the long way there.
Right.
And then it goes on and on and on to the end. So here we have, right at the start,
Leslie Law.
I have Leslie Law, and he is on Typically Fern Hill. And Typically Fern Hill is in a great position. He's in second place, 27.2. So of course he's going to try to go as fast as he can, and he's off and on to the first.
And this is a really neat horse. I've watched this horse come through the levels with Leslie, and I think this is a fast horse. It's a feisty horse. It's a typically Fernhill horse, a fabulous jumper and very game. But I think it's definitely one of those horses you have to be as brave and as game as he is, and no better rider than Leslie.
And his last outing was at Stableview in Aiken, South Carolina, CCI 4-star short, and he had a 10th place finish. The dressage, he beat that dressage score yesterday. He had a 30.2, and yesterday he had a 27.2, so that's 3 point. He had 17.2 times, so then I think the time will be really interesting to see what he wants to do here today.
Yeah, and so this is right at they've run now past the stabling. The stabling's behind Leslie right now, and you can kind of get into a rhythm. Mark Phillips, who's designed the course, has done a really nice job of the first 4 to 5 fences are just big galloping tables. They get you in a rhythm, and now we're kind of coming around to the first kind of complexes in the course up by the VIP.
Yeah, he's got the picnic table at 5 right there, and then he is now going to line up for a double of brushes. They're 6AB. See? Really nice there, huh?
Yeah, nice
and efficient. He's got a mound jump now. We've seen the mound jump all morning with the various levels, but this division goes a little further over and jumps quite a bit bigger one. Easy over that. Now to the water. It's fairly straightforward, that water. They don't really jump into the water or out of the water, but it is right by the arenas. It's quite a distracting area for the horse.
Yeah, and they'll weave back and forth through that water a couple of times, and I think that first one is just to get the feet wet. We've got Leslie galloping down to these open oxers down at the end, and I don't know, I'm hoping my bet rings true here because he doesn't look like he's going too quickly. It looks like he's having a nice round, but I'm not sure if he's going to quite make the time.
But you also didn't say which horse.
I know.
And he has 2 shots at it.
And Lady Chatterley is pretty quick, too.
Yeah, and there's Joe Meyer walking around the starting area.
Yeah. We just missed the corner there.
Yeah, and the lifeguard cabins.
And so now it just kind of slingshots you back around, and you start heading back towards the tailgating area and the water. And this fence here I thought was just beautiful. It's this big open bridge, and it's got boats and everything, fake boats in the water there.
Just
and
anything to put the horse's eye on it,
yeah,
huh?
It was really, really neat the way
So now
built.
he's at 13 ABC, a combination of lifeguard cabins.
Getting back into the water.
Yeah, big drop there.
Nice.
Super. Really just class.
Yeah, really smooth round.
So you're quite right. They get their feet wet and get them comfortable with water, and then they really ask some good questions there.
Yep, and then you've got a big tricaner, and then this kind of takes you back into the backfields, and we'll see Leslie in our line of vision here in a few minutes as they come into the back part of the course. And then I think we'll have Joe here walking around the start box.
And they run the horses every 4-minute intervals, so as soon as Joe starts, we'll be able to see where Leslie's 4-minute marker is. And Joe is starting.
All right.
So we see Leslie very far in the distance in this field, so that'll be an interesting marker for us in the 4-minute mark.
4 minutes.
Right over that corner.
Now we've got a good shot of Leslie back. He's about to gallop around right in front of us.
Right in front of us.
He could pretty much give us a high five.
But it's coming right off a long stretch. Oh, super ride. It's a log pile, beautifully built. Big, basically a roll top.
Mm-hmm.
But a big old roll top.
A big old one.
Now we're going to see him. He's traveling quite quick now.
And now he is in the third backfield. At a big table here, having a few conversations.
So that's 19, what they call the hay rack. Now we have this interesting, yep, 20 AB, first time for jumping it. And he jumped that beautifully. I walked that distance, and it's on a bending line, so it's pretty, it gives you every chance to be accurate, and Leslie was very accurate. And then he jumps a coop there, and onto now a big table. And there's Joe. Joe is at the mound at 7. And we'll see him now at the first of the 2 water jumps. There we go. Beautiful end.
Really nice.
Right
And these
there.
jumps are just built so beautifully.
And there is Leslie approaching this very difficult corner. He's going to go the long way, looks like.
Yep. And we've got Joe up at the right past the water at the big open oxer, and then he'll turn himself around, loop himself back around, and come back towards the water here in a second. Here, Leslie, the
He
big
just
table.
saw a great shot there,
Yeah.
didn't he?
Right by the warm-up, and then the horses have to loop, like it's a hairpin turn right back around again from the warm-up. You can see his horse running a little sideways there.
It's like, what?
Going,
Go back.
wait a second.
Wait, what's happening?
Yeah, you got to keep their head in the game. Say just a few more as they're kind of spinning around the back of this track here.
Great turn there.
And that you can see where it's just really going to be hard to make time.
Yeah.
You know, you're always kind of turning.
Absolutely.
Here, Joe gives Buccaneer a little wake-up call and says, come on, we got some stuff to do with the water now. He comes to have a big drop in.
Yeah, he's just such a great cross-country rider.
Ooh, and he, whoa, no.
Oh dear,
Yeah.
oh. What happened?
So
We see that from the back.
It looked like Leslie dropped in and really stayed out, did a nice 7 strides up the bank. Joe dropped in and cut in a little bit and really ended up at the up bank on about 6.5.
And the horse scissored it
And
a
the
little
horse jumped up and just didn't have the power to get out over the bounce.
bit. That's disappointing.
And that's the tough thing with bounces out of water in those banks, is that it's not the A, it's the B that it affects if you get the A wrong. And unfortunately, just didn't have the best shot up that bank.
That's a shame.
So I think we're really fortunate to have this live stream, so you're going to have the people back in the barn, just making sure that they get the math right there. Jump in, get nice and straight.
Just hear that Robin Walker is now on course with HBT Barola.
Yeah, he's in the box, and out we go.
I know.
19.6 time for Leslie. So 19.6 to add to Leslie's score, but a clean jumping round, and he also did take the option at the corner.
Representing United States, Robin Walker and SPT Barolo, starting in 6th place in this 4-star after dressage, 31.7.
And we have Joe coming out into the field right in front of us, and he hasn't taken the foot off the accelerator at all. And it's interesting. I had someone ask me earlier, well, if I have a stop, should I just take my foot off the accelerator and just canter around? And I said, sometimes that's not the best thing for the confidence of the horse. That they have a problem, you've got to kind of be more confident and get going and more accurate. And you can see now that Joe's horse is really galloping, and Joe is really being positive to make sure that this horse feels good at the end of the track and feels, like Superman, not like, he had an issue early on in the course. Oh, he's circling back around to this big table here.
Yeah. Oh, lovely
Really nice
shot.
Yeah, and you can see the difference there with Joe's horse and Leslie's. As Joe's horse really had was very rideable and obedient, but maybe was a little green in the turn in the beginning. And we're going to these big gates here. 2, 3. Nice forward ride by Joe. Yeah. That's the thing about these big tracks, is that it can literally be 6 inches on a line that can put you off the line, and that's it. That's 20 penalties.
And really worry the horse.
Yeah.
Or what you didn't think was going to be a problem now all of a sudden is.
Yeah. And that, you know,
difficult.
it can kind of show the difference between the pros of riders, too, is that at that moment it lights their fire. It doesn't diminish it. You know, they really
Robin
get...
Walker over 7 at the mound, now coming to the first water. 8AB, the lifeguard H2O.
Big careful jump there. Nice, and that's what, you know, it's hard to tell on the screen that we're looking at here, but those are really big, bright jumps, and you could see Robin's horse really got quite careful, and he slipped his reins and made sure that he gave the horse a real powerful jump
Joe
there.
to the Oxer at 23, and looks like he's going to take on the corner.
Nice.
Ah, he did a beautiful
Yeah,
job.
super.
Super job there.
Nice and patient.
That would just make you even more disappointed
Yeah.
at the slip up at the beginning of the course.
Yeah. But that'll give some confidence to those guys back in the barns too, knowing
Absolutely.
that, you know, he just popped in there, did a nice easy 6, and the horse read it no problem. Makes that turn. Back away from the warm up.
And this little nimble horse could make a pretty nice tight
Yeah.
little turn, couldn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, look at him digging in.
You know, I can't, it's hard to tell, but it looks like he's in a light little snaffle or something
Yeah.
too. Like, yeah, he looks.
Robin Walker is over the bridge Oxer at 12.
So he'll be coming back towards the water for the second time. Yep, here we go. So we'll watch this horse as he was pretty careful jumping into the water the first time.
Very good in. Got the 7,
Yep.
and he came out.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that it looks like staying out and letting the horses see it. Maybe also not having too much spray over in front of the horse with the water,
Yeah.
so the horse can really have its eye on it. They'll be happy with that.
Oop, little peek there. It's hard to tell, but that's a big tricaner. So the tricaner jump, a classic tricaner jump, is just a big hanging log over a big terrifying ditch. And most of the time at this level, the horses have seen those all through the level, so they get a, you know, they still maybe get a little bit of a look at it, but they're fairly comfortable. But they can give the riders a real fright.
Now on course is Nilson De Silva with Rock Phantom.
Now this one could be quite fast, I would imagine. Nielsen doesn't tend to linger about on the cross country.
Riding for Brazil, he's competed for Brazil on a number of occasions. And here we can see coming into our site is Robin Walker.
So 2 flags there, but that won't count. They'll have somebody down there with an iPad making sure that the horse got inside those flags, but even from our distant view, it looks like he just had a slight drift there. So I think he'll be fine. Coming up to this nice Oxer. It gives him a little reminder behind, you know, a lot of it is keeping the body in gear, but the brain still thinking nice and forward.
And Barola is a 2010 Irish Sport Horse gelding that's owned by Robin and also Alston Kerr. So a shout out to Alston. We all enjoy seeing her at the various competitions. She's super active in the eventing community, so we hope she's watching.
It's a nice table. And I actually like what Mark did there, just sent them out and around that little pond, little alligator pond there, and just kind of you have a little reset before you come to these big gates here again. And we've got Nielsen coming back into the picture here.
He got the extra stride there to 20B. Now he gets the horse back out in front of his leg and sends him on forward to the 21 at the cabin at 21. And here we have Nilsen going into the water for the first time. Very nice there.
Yeah.
That's riding really well.
Yeah. Doing super.
There's Robin. He was really going quickly across the field as we were also watching Nilsen, and that's why you can see he wants to be trying to be very competitive.
Nilson Da Silva from Brazil is through the water for the first time.
At the big Oxer on frangible technology
To the Oxer.
at number 10.
So far the course seems to be jumping really, really well. You know, we haven't seen too many people really take a crack at the time, I don't think. We've got Robin taking the option around here, which is probably smart given the drifts in the corners earlier. And to me, this horse is looking just a little tired, a little
Sure.
a little winded, probably a little I'm not sure if he's new to the level, but there's a lot of turning around out there, and the horses can kind of lose their motivation at times. So Robin's doing a really good job of
He's
keeping him.
he's done a couple of advanced nationals classes at the Horse Park in New Jersey, and then again at 5 Points. He did the CCI4 star at Plantation Field, so he is. It's new
good
to
at
the level.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, at the tail end of the corner,
Alright.
Robin Walker with
We've
SPT
got-
Barodo. Over 24.
That's riding very well on the way in.
Right-handed to the last bit, just 3
Yeah.
Nice, easy. Yeah.
Word's gotten back there that that's the ticket.
Yeah. And that's where, as a rider, you've got to have a cool head,
Heading now to the Tricana at 14 with Rock Phantom.
because you've got to be able to have the adrenaline up here like Nielsen's got to get the horse up and over that Tricaner, but at the same time be calm and cool enough in your head to, I don't know, count to 7.
Robin Walker jumping the last. And he says from the United States. I thought Robin was from.
Well, he's
Northern
definitely
England.
He's definitely from across the pond.
Definitely. I wonder if he's taken the U.S. nationality. That would be.
I mean, it seems to do well for a few foreigners. So Nielsen, to me, is hunting down here a
He
little
is.
bit.
He is flying. My goodness. Got what he wanted, and that was as fast as we've seen that log pile be jumped today.
It's true.
And you look at his dressage score; it's 34.6.
Oh, sorry, I'm a bad watcher. So the horse I think there's a ditch on the other side of that, and the
There-
horse just put in a
there is.
little extra step there.
There's a ditch there, but he's definitely trying to go quickly across the country. Well, it looks like he's slowing down for this bright yellow hay rack at 19.
As he's coming around for these gates. And this horse does look fast, but it looks like he does have to have some strong conversations about getting him back to focus.
Well, he looked
Easily
great
makes that
there,
four.
and what
Yeah.
a quick turn he made.
Yeah.
I mean, he was on it.
0.2 time penalties. So Megan Marinovic verdict with Riviera Lu for the United States on course.
We now have a new starter,
5
and that is Megan Marinovic Burdick on Riviera Lou. So I started my watch on Nilsson, and he said 5:40 at the moment. The time is 6:19, so he's got about 40 seconds to get home. Megan is through the first water,
Nice job there. I'm
and
kind
here's Nilsson
of going long at the corners.
going long at the corners. So he must have thought that through. It's interesting because it walks very difficult with the new sort of hazard that they put in between the two jumps, and yet Joe made it look easy.
Yeah, and while Joe's horse looks little and pretty adjustable,
Right.
and Nielsen's horse and both Leslie's horse didn't look as adjustable.
Right.
Having a big, bold, brave horse is very important, but also having a rideable horse that when they get their blood up can still listen.
So he's over the time at this point, but not by much. He's at 6:35. He wants to get as quick as he can to the finish.
So just 2 from home is Brazil's Nilson da Silva with Rock Phantom coming to the last 2 fences as they sweep left-handed to approach 26.
And
Second of 2 brush.
So we'll listen for his time as soon
yeah,
as
for
he-
sure. So he's right about at 7 minutes. Time is really difficult.
Now for Brazil, Nilson da Silva with Rock Phantom coming to the water for the second time. Riviera Lu and Megan.
So that puts him at about 40 seconds. There's about 20 time faults, isn't it? No, 24, about 8 time faults.
Through the water second time. Riviera Lu giving Megan a lovely ride through that water for the second time.
Now, what's Megan's
Really enjoying this Mark Phillips created
history on this course? Megan is a new rider to me, and she looks like she's doing a fabulous job. So I'm having Karen look up her history. That's our little book in front of us.
And at the start, We have our next starter, which is Lisa Wallace on Let It Be Lee.
About 43 seconds over.
Yeah, I was close, 43. So that's 9.2, I think.
So Lisa's out on Let It Be Lee. This is a former ride of Kyle Carter's, I believe. And this is a really cool, I think it's a thoroughbred horse actually, but don't quote me on that. But it's a little nippy horse, that's why I say that, and it's a really fun ride. It's been fun to watch this pair.
Let It Be Lee is a
Yeah.
thoroughbred. He's 2008, so he's 13 years old.
That was my favorite ride to that
That
jump.
was beautiful. That was Megan, and Megan has jumped the 4-star long at Jersey Fresh this spring. And she got a mirror there with a clear cross country, 35.6 in dressage. So she's, on the improvement on that for sure.
Well, what I've seen so far, I really like. There's this horse is really got a great expression, really nice and uphill gallop. So you can see that she doesn't have to do too much setting up. But it's amazing. Even sometimes when we don't have to set up that much, we still, just because we get a little anxious, we still do a lot. And she seems to be very smooth, which we saw going.
And she also jumped a clear round in the CCI 4-star short at the Kentucky Horse Park this spring.
Oh, which says a lot.
So that says a lot.
So I think this
In
is
fact-
one to watch.
In fact, this horse has not had a problem cross country since, September. She's only had 120 in her whole career.
That's amazing. Well, you can tell from the expression on this horse and the gallop and the bravery that the cross country is going to really be a natural. And the horse and rider look like they know each other quite
And there's Elisa. Going through the first water. She looks like she wants to be quick too.
well. Yeah.
Well, and it is a thoroughbred, so it's very fast across the country.
Yep, and she would be used to riding quick thoroughbred, so this would be a ride that's not foreign for her. Oh, another long option.
Let It Be Lee was actually owned by Jonathan Elliott's wife before Kyle got the ride. Susie.
Really?
That's what I've just
Oh, I thought it was.
been given this text.
Oh, well, there you go.
And anybody that can give us any backstories on any of these horses, just fire a text to myself or Sinead.
Exactly. And we'll assume it to be true.
Absolutely.
Now for the mid table at 24. They just fall from home. Clear over 24. They now continue their right-handed sweep to come to 25.
So this horse still looks.
Jumping well.
Yeah. I think that turn away from home there is a bit hard. They lose their steam a little, and then.
Yeah, I think it's
they
it's
pick it
tough
back
on the
up
horses
again.
to turn back
Yeah.
away when they feel like, okay, wow, that was great. I feel really good about my round.
Yeah.
Never brave, and then will be the
I know.
last two for Megan Marinovich batting from the United States with Riviera Lou. Also from
And there she is finishing. Now we have Elisa.
coming to the water for the second time.
So she's, about halfway through her course.
Nicely through there. No problems with that little skinny cabin coming out of the water. With that bounce, we'll let it be the
And she's turning around to this Tricaner.
Getting the Tricaner down.
Really nice.
Tricaner.
That's the thing. You
Is
get
it-
a good, brave thoroughbred, and it's pretty fun to go across country. You're not
Yeah.
too worried about all the things, the ditches, the waters, that you can just keep being positive and forward.
So we are seeing her now, and remember how we did that 4-minute thing from Leslie to Joe, and she's at 3:45 at the moment, so she's quick.
Yeah, well, she looks smooth, and
like they're about 57 seconds.
a minute over.
So Megan was 57 seconds over, so that's about 23.
I think what
Close.
you're going to see, the faster rounds on this course are going to be the smooth ones. They're going
I
to
think
be.
so, and the horses that have ride, you
Yeah.
give them rideability.
Yeah.
Let It Be Lee is in 7th position on a 32.6, and look at that is a racehorse.
Yep.
Wow, and so nice.
She's going.
There was no question
No,
about that
no.
intention.
She had to like that. Oh.
I think he just wanted to have one more moment there,
Yeah. Yeah.
but that didn't take any extra time, but it certainly helped with the balance.
Yeah.
They're over 3, continuing right-handed,
Yeah, I think that was
Yeah,
a good
that's great.
decision. Yeah, and again, using these tables as you see fit. She was very smart with the galloping table over here. She didn't have to set up for too much.
No.
Whereas now she needs to come around for these upright rails. So it was
And
good to take a check in front of the yellow table.
I don't know what she's going to do. I saw her walking it the last time, and with the rails to the corner, and she was 50-50. I don't know what to do.
She should go straight.
She sure should. It's a very nimble horse.
Yeah, it's a really genuine, good straight horse, and I think she'll have the same amount of rideability as Joe. And she looks like she knows that if she goes fast, there's a lot of moving in this leaderboard. So, do it, girl.
So that would be Madeline Scott on Crosby's Gold. She comes forward. Crosby's Gold with a 40.1 in the dressage. She's over the mound at 7. And she'll be now approaching the first water.
Ping over that.
I should be able to see whether Elisa is doing the straightway or not at the Oxer to the corner. She went the long way. And she's trying to make up that time.
Yeah.
So she's at 6 minutes now. The time is 6:19. I'm sure she won't make that, but she will be pretty close to, certainly the fastest time so far.
Oop. This little bending brush to brush just to slow you down, and then back to the last jump, I believe.
Yeah, this is the last fence, and I've got her 6:45, 6:50. So yeah, she's at about 6:55, I guess. So that's so that's about 30 seconds over.
Yeah, I'm thinking my one inside the time isn't going to happen.
I don't know. We're running out of people.
I know. Oh. You know what? Nice 7 there. The horse was a little green jumping into the water behind there for some reason, but it actually kind of helped the 7 work out a little bit. So now she heads down off this left turn to the chicanery. You can see her kind of rock back there and say, come on.
I have records of Madeline riding this horse all the way back to 2017. No, wait a second. Maybe that's not right.
34 seconds over.
Yeah, so that was... What does that put her on?
That's the quickest so far.
13.6.
All right, I think we've got Jenny out. Jenny Johnstrom on Flower Girl, and we just saw her jump fence number 2, so that takes you right back towards the stabling, and then they'll kind of make a right turn back to 3, 4, 5, which are some nice galloping fences. Now we've got Maddie Scott heading up towards this nice oxer, roll top oxer here.
It really
Sweet.
Comes up very nicely off that turn, doesn't it?
Yeah, really nice jump to get the confidence. And that's the thing that on this course, there's not a lot of galloping. There's not a lot of long straight shots to some tables, and that can really get the wind back in your sails after you've had some tough complexes. So it's nice to put that there. And for people that don't compete at that level, they could walk up to that table and think, oh my God, that's enough for my family, extended
Absolutely.
family, and everybody to have Thanksgiving dinner. And but it's just a relaxing fence, honestly.
Crosby's Gold, Madeline Scott, and she's in the last field. She doesn't look as fast as some of the others, I wouldn't think.
Those upright rails are riding really nicely. Now she loops back into the other field, and then she kind of has the roundabout field by the warm-up before she's done. And I would already assume she's going to take the option at the corner. Oh, here's Jenny going towards the water. See her working pretty hard there.
She's got spurs on her elbows,
Yeah.
as they say.
Yeah. So it is a really bright water jump when you come down to it. So she obviously felt the mare hold just a little bit.
She's making the turn to the Oxer. Let's see what she's going to do. She's going straight.
Oh, look at that. I mean, who knew?
Good for her.
Yeah.
That was beautifully ridden.
Totally. Nice, easy pot. And it from here, you know, like walking it walks incredibly difficult, but watching them ride it, her and
The
Jen
horses
ride
are
it,
seeing it.
they just see it right in front of them. Really nice. It'll be interesting to see.
You'd like to know what Leslie's thoughts are with his Lady Chatterley horse, or you know, you've got Vicky Garland, Kyle Carter, you got Joe Meyer on Clip Clop.
Well, I think Maddie rides with Kyle, so it'll be interesting to see
And-
if he goes straight.
Yeah, and coming up is Sarah, who's coming into the cross country in the lead,
Mm-hmm.
and she's
And she's got a very rideable horse with
Yeah.
a really good relationship, so the challenge is out there. I think it's going to be that, you know, taking that risk is going to make the difference.
sure. And this is Jenny Jarnsham coming. Whoa! So that was that same sort of undefined distance, and Flower Girl found that little bit of a fifth leg and
Yeah.
just stayed really balanced as she moved her footwork.
Yep, she just kind of left
That's
the
lovely
ground,
to
and
watch.
Joe's horse didn't.
Yeah, shame.
Yeah. Oh, and she got to the other side. So again, that's that ditch. It's hard to see from this angle, but there's a big ditch under that hanging rail, and you can see Jenny just making sure that Flower Girl didn't have time to stop and smell the roses. So we've got Zach walking around the box here on his direct advance, and he,
Yeah, so Zach, he's coming into the cross country phase with a 34.4 in a tie with Joe Meyer, which it isn't exactly relevant anymore, but they both tied on the 34.4.
so the scores are tight here. Like if Zach can kind of keep the engine going and the energy up, he has everything to play for.
And Jenny's coming along the outside of this fence line to make her turn to the log pile. It's a lovely mare, huh?
Yeah. You can hear the horse had quite a look at the chicaner before, and sorry, our camera is going a little wild there. Jenny's got to come around to that ditch, which I think she jumped.
She just jumped it already. She's going to catch the yellow roll top now. Yeah, good. You know, it's funny, the mare's got quite a lot of scope, so she spends just a tiny bit of time up in the air, and sometimes that can add some time onto your clock.
Mm-hmm.
Here she is. Very nice jumper. Very clever.
Yeah, and you know, it's nice to see because she really is kind of on the end of the rein, nice loopy rein, and giving her a real positive forward ride, but there's not a lot of arguing or discussion that's happening in the
Well,
bridle.
she keeps the rein really light, and then when she wants to slow down her balance, or she just stops moving, and the mare comes right back to her. It's really beautiful to watch. What's he gonna do? Oh, there goes that camera again. I wonder what Jenny's gonna do with that jump.
Zach here at that first
Very
combination.
influential.
So this horse is super jumper and very brave, but Zach has had some, you know, turning and rideability issues. So we'll see how that unfolds today for him.
This is Jenny coming into the tabletop. So she has negotiated the oxer to the corner. So we don't really know whether she went the long way or not. But I mean, that mare definitely is looking for the flag, so it wouldn't surprise me if she went straight.
So she's headed towards the last, so we'll listen for her time.
Well, I've got her at 6:45 at the moment, so about 6:50 So right about where the others are.
Now we've got Zach up at the top of the course here. So he'll be coming back towards that big bridge jump and then back into the water, the drop to the up bank.
So I think she'll be very competitively placed near Let It Be Lee, somewhere around 42. 'Cause if she's 30 seconds over, somewhere around there, then that's 12, isn't it? And so she was on a 30. So they'd be very close in their score.
Oh, that's quite a good dressage.
Mm-hmm. That was really well ridden.
Yeah, that was.
He really helped to shape the turn, and the horse saw it.
27 seconds. All right, 10.8 to the fastest so far. Super. So far, you're closest to winning our bet.
Yeah. 10.8.
I think you knew something I didn't know.
10.8. So that puts her at 31.6. I mean 41.6. That's, and I think that Let It Be Lee is somewhere about 42. So the wind picks up, and then all of a sudden it picks up these papers, and then off they go.
Into me.
Right into you.
Right into me. All right, we have Missy Miller has just started out on course on Quinn. This is a fast horse, but this horse has a really uphill, like rangy way of galloping, and sometimes I think this horse is like going to be way under time, and he ends up having a little bit of time just because of the animation in his gallop.
Yeah.
And then we've got Zach here at the top of the course. And I kind of get the feeling here that, you know, this is a really promising horse for Zach, and I think he's really making sure to have a nice rideable round on this horse.
Yeah, he's not quite got his foot all the way to the floor.
But he looks in a lot more control than I've seen at a few events.
But they are catching that log pile
so nicely.
So nice, but big.
Yeah. So he's coming up to this.
That's the ditch and brush?
Yep.
No problem there. He is just a little bit off the pace from the others, which is fair play to him. You know, it's like a beautiful young horse, and he really would like to produce this horse in a way that it's going to be competitive on the time.
For sure.
Shortly.
And you can see how there he's just having to have such a strong conversation. You know, he had a bit of a move at that last one, and then he's kind of paying for it there.
Here's Missy and Quinn. Missy Miller.
Lifeguard. In the water, out. And over the second element there of 8.
All right, so we've got Zach going back into the backfield.
Horse looks like it's getting quite strong and low on him.
Well, and I think that's the thing. It gets, you know, it's not that nice feeling when they get a little dead in the mouth, you know, and you can see that Zach is doing everything he can to just kind of have the conversation come through. And it's not a great feeling, especially when they're as brave as this horse is. I mean, the horse is just not worried about anything. You wish he'd be a little bit more thoughtful about things sometimes.
Yeah. And then you end up having to go really quite slow to feel a fresh mouth. Yeah, he's going to go the long way.
Because you can see every time he's going slow and in control, the horse is lovely and straight and attentive, and it's just he just clicks over to that other gear of strong and rude, and there's not, you know, the line of communication is gone.
Missy at the bridge oxer. Really great rhythm there, looking super.
I really like watching this pair go cross country. They're really animated, they're really fun, they're really fast. You know, it's to me, this horse actually looks like it'd be a lot of fun to ride cross country.
He got a little bit under the coop, but he doesn't care.
Oh.
And he doesn't care.
No.
He tripped up the step. It's okay for him.
No.
Lovely, huh? To just see a horse that just works it out.
He's like, I got it. You know, it's always a balance. You know, we talk about, you know, going fast or going slow. It's always a balance of when to have the conversation. You know, like, do I have it 13 strides out? Do I have it 10? Do I have it 6? And as you navigate through the course, sometimes when you start to have the kind of the preparation period, those distances from the fences change because you'd like it to be quiet and smooth in those last 6 strides, that's for sure. So everybody can focus on the job.
Yeah, and it's for Zach. It's like it'll be another day. He's around 8 minutes. He's a couple minutes over, but having to have so much of a discussion before the jumps.
Yeah.
Missy, on the other hand, as we see her coming into this field, is going about a 2-minute lick.
Yeah.
Now, will she see the distance off the corner? Some of them have, and it's usually a bit long. Wow.
Yeah.
That was impressive.
But it was funny, even in the dressage, we watched, both you and I watched her dressage yesterday, and I think that, this horse actually engages at speed, and that's where,
well, you can just see his hind end coming up under and pushing him into a longer distance.
Yeah. He almost gets a little more difficult when you try and control it,
Yeah. And he has a remarkable way of just sort of stalling his step. If it's a little bit close for him, or if it's a combination or something, it's really cool to watch.
He knows where all his limbs are, where his spidey legs are.
Spidey legs.
48.8 will be the additional provisional penalty points. Coming now to 6A, the overnight leader.
Oh,
Okay, so we have our
6A.
overnight leader. Sarah Cosmic-Murphy is over 6A and B, and there she is on our sights, coming to the mound jump at 7.
so she's headed to that first dip in the water.
Yeah.
You get,
Oh, great shot through there.
I mean, you can see there why he show jumps,
Beautiful,
right?
beautiful
There was-
rhythm. Yeah, for sure.
There's a freeze frame there.
Good boy. But Sarah saw that and she was like, let's do it. Missy's going straight. Here we go. Oh, shucks.
And that, again, you almost were like, is she going to go in 5? It was like 5.5 where she got there, because the last 2 horses were quite little strided, and they ended up almost short in the 6. And she got there right on that 5.5.
It's funny though, because she went for it on this course today, and it's disappointing, but she did a lot of good things out there today.
Yeah.
And so now we will be back with Sarah, our overnight leader. Oh, great jump for Missy over the table.
Well, and like with Missy and this horse, they've been partners for so long. It's kind of like, why not give it a go?
Absolutely.
You're gonna learn more by giving it a go and not getting it right than not trying in the first place, especially with one you've had for a while.
Here we have Sarah at number 12 at the Bridge Oxer. Most of these open Oxers are on frangible technology, and yet I don't think we've had any clips pinned.
Why did you just say that right now?
Well, I think the horses are jumping the course very, very well.
Yeah.
She's riding just great. She steadied up for the bank.
Yeah.
You could just see her upper body come back and just in about that 4th stride and say, whoa, 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 whoa.
Give them a nice big pat. Says that's exactly right. And again, this combination is really nice to watch because you can see what she's asking and you can see him responding very politely.
And she just adores this horse.
Yeah. I mean, how could you not?
Absolutely. And produced by Miki Kuchka all the way to the CCI 4-star level at the Kentucky Horse Park when it was a 4-star and now it's a 5-star. So, hats off to Miki for her lovely producing of this amazing horse.
And no matter when you get a horse, whether it's a novice horse or a 4 or 5-star horse, it always takes a year or 2 until they feel kind of like your own, until your partnership is really solid. And I feel like Sarah and this horse are really starting to come into their own. They've had moments of brilliance and moments of miscommunication, and I think they have a lot of success, hopefully, in the near future.
And he is a 16-year-old Cel Francais. Here he's taking a shot at the log table.
Super.
Wonderful. Owner Kim Small.
And again, we're seeing a real smooth round here, and I really think smooth is fast
just
here.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
course, Sarah has been competing at the highest level for a long time. She's just got a number of horses under her belt.
Well, and she's also pretty much helping run this whole competition. So
Yes.
I don't think she's bored.
She's definitely not bored.
Not looking for things to do. So we've got her coming to these upright gates. She's been riding really super. Like a lead.
She just
Beautiful.
she bowed that out just a little bit on the landing, just to give the horse a little bit more room, so the rhythm would be maintained.
Yeah.
That was
So,
wonderful to
I
watch.
think there's going to be a big, I'm hoping she's going straight because I
hope
think
so.
she's been smooth, and I think if she goes straight, I think the win is hers for the taking.
Yep, I do too. And look at the step the horse has. And we've got a new starter. That's Kyle Carter.
But let's watch Sarah
And
at
Ready
the
or
corner.
Not. But we're gonna watch.
We're
gonna
keep
stay on
this camera
Sarah.
on Sarah. Love you, Kyle. See you in a second.
We'll be right back.
Look, I love a face like this on cross country.
Yeah.
Ears pricked. What's next?
Go straight. Go straight.
Go
Go
straight,
straight.
go
Come on, go straight. You can do it.
You can
It's
do
staying
it.
for you. Great shot. She's going straight.
Yay!
Yay! Woo, 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 woo.
What was so good there
She-
is she put a little angle on the first one to
She
make
put-
the six work.
I mean, it was
Perfect.
beautiful to
Yeah.
watch.
That was perfectly ridden, perfectly executed. And that actually was so clever because then it actually took that run out of the corner away.
Absolutely.
You know,
'Cause
but
you're
she knew
turning
she was
into
going to
it the
have the
last time.
rideability. She knew she was going to be able
Well,
to make
and
that
what
turn.
confidence you have in your horse when you can take a line that everybody else has gone around and you just
Yeah,
make it look simple.
like Pony Club.
Keep going, go on. Kick
Not-
it. Go
yeah.
fast, go fast. Did you ever notice
I talk
that?
about competitive.
Did you ever notice that at the beginning watching the fight? Oh, easy, easy, easy. And then the last few jumps, you're like,
Go,
faster,
go, go,
faster.
go. And, run! And the horse
Run,
that's awesome.
run. Wouldn't it be fantastic for her to have put so much effort into this
Totally.
competition and walk away with the win?
Totally. Yay!
Go
Okay,
on.
we're going to listen for this time.
We are going to
here.
listen. Even though we have Kyle now going to the second
Salt
water. But good for Kyle coming out of the water. And now he's on to the Tricana.
Still waiting on Sarah's time.
Great over the Tricaner for Kyle. And there's Vic Garland in the starting box.
So a little bit over the time there for the over 19 of Sarah Carlson, Vic Murphy, Ruben Dizio, 46 seconds over the optimum time. And we'll get the probationally 18.4 time penalties to add to their overnight score of 26.1.
18.4.
Starter on course now.
All right, I'm pulling out the calculator.
Yeah.
18.4 was what they said, right?
Yeah.
Chino, starting with 39.3.
All right, so we have Kyle in the backfield with Ready or Not, this beautiful mare. And he is cruising to our nice big table here.
I think that Let It Be Lee.
Mm.
Whoa, no.
Oh my goodness,
Goodness.
I just was
But
drinking water at the wrong time.
Yeah, you almost went down into your lungs, didn't it?
Yeah, I took a big flyer at that table. And then jumped the chicaner there, or the ditch brush, no problem. And, we talked about this mare yesterday, and Kyle, and I really like watching this pair because they're both just workers. There's not a no to the job. And there was a little miscommunication at that table about if we were waiting or going, but she was like, we'll just go. And Kyle takes a nice little check there and sets it up so that
Yeah, I think he's sort of taking
yeah, and we've all done that.
hit the handbrake.
Yeah, we're like, we just need to reel this in a second.
Now he's got her back now. Got him back now.
Nice job. So those gates are riding really nicely as Kyle loops back around into this final kind of boomerang field. So
Boomerang field.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see what his decision here at the corner combination will be.
So we have 4 more in this CCI 4-star division. Vic Garland has just started her course. That's her on the screen now.
Headed towards the mound to the first water.
Yep, number 7 at the mound. And then on to the first lifeguard water. The first one being very, very kind, letting the horses jump grass to grass and then enter the water and then get out of the water and jump the nice oxer on the way out.
Yeah, and into the arena, into the different footings.
Yeah.
So there's 3 different footings there. Oh, he went straight.
How
Look
about
at
that?
Looked nice and easy. And, you know, again, he advised his student earlier who jumped around the course to go straight. So I think he'll be very happy with that. And he's been kind of cooking around, so it'll be interesting to hear his time. You know,
Well, you know, he comes in very competitive spot after the dressage on a 30.1 and sitting in 3rd position.
yeah.
So
And
at
he's
least
got a good partnership. He's had this horse for a while.
Yeah.
He's jumped around at the advanced level for a while, so he knows her really well. So again, it's kind of like one of those combinations is you might as well just take a crack at it. She looks still full of running.
yeah.
Coming down to the turning point at the bottom of the meadow now is Victoria Garland with Andy Cappuccino with 11 AB.
Yeah, he's got one more to jump.
Wow, he's
Go
really
on, go on, go
slicing
on, go
in
on.
there. It's great.
Yeah,
Back they come now.
So we're going to want to listen to this time as well.
absolutely.
For the Bridge Oxer at 12.
Absolutely.
Water for the second
He just carves right next to that white flag and zooms into the finish there.
So he's on at 29.5.
Canada's Kyle Carr with Ready or Not.
Here's Vic into the second water. Oh, she really.
Oh,
Oh, you
8.
got 8 there.
Yeah.
I thought 7 was right,
Yeah,
right
me
there
too.
for her.
With
52.
20.8 time.
So 20.8 time
That's-
penalties for Kyle.
Yep, so that's a 50 point.
Oh, and we've got
Nine.
Joe out on the course for a second time. So
And he is off,
Yeah.
he's out for redemption.
Yeah, and he knows what it's. You know, he knows the straightaways are doable. He knows the track is doable. Hopefully, he knows the bank and the water is doable. So I don't think he's going to be hanging about. I don't think I've ever seen Joe hanging about.
No. Joe comes forward on Clip Clop with a 35.1. So he really has to be sort of I think that Let It Be Lee and who else is up there in the lead? And, you know, so that's the 42 mark is
Yeah.
sort of those leading marks. This is Vic at the log pile. Oh, she just rode that so well.
Yeah, this is
I
a
know.
big, long horse.
But
you know?
it's such a nice horse, and they
Yeah.
have such a wonderful partnership.
Well, it's almost like letting him run up to the base of
See
that
the
jump
scope he has?
compresses him. Yeah. Well, he was miles over the double corners down
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
A little close to that picnic table, but is clear over it and now approaching 6A and B.
So they're talking about Joe just being a little close to the picnic table, but getting over it at 5. He's on his way to 6AB, the double brushes. But we're watching Vic as she comes around the turn to the double verticals. The first one's on the flat, and then it's a bending line up onto a mound, and the second vertical is right at the top of the mound. And then it's a sharp left-hand turn to get into what is now known as the boomerang field.
Well, and again, he's just got a huge stride. I mean, he kind of got up there in 3.5, but he's so scopy and so efficient. He just wrapped around the top of that. And the mounds, you know, you kind of think, oh, that makes it difficult, but it actually sets the balance up super for the second gate.
Now over the Terranova barn at 9.
Joe Myers over 9 at the Terranova barn.
Victoria Garland and Andy Cappuccino at the tail end of the course now.
So it'll be interesting to see where she's going in this corner combination. Still got heaps of scope. You know, she's looking at her watch there. Maybe that's making her decide what she wants to do.
You're on it, girl. Go on. Nope.
No option
Away
there.
from the turning point at the bottom of the meadow, 11.
Yeah, this horse has such a big step. She definitely need to kind of carve that out like Sarah to have the
Yeah.
distance work. So, But she did that as efficiently as anyone.
We should be having a new starter soon, Mark Grandia. And there is Joe Meyer. Now getting ready for the second water. The lifeguard cabins getting ready to drop into the water. Super shot. He won't make that mistake.
No!
Oh, jeez.
Oh
my
no.
goodness.
That's going to be his undoing.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, he's still, you know,
But
he was out. He was like kind of still on that.
But he had, it's, I bet he just can't believe it.
No.
You know, he landed a little faster on that horse than we've seen some of the others land.
Mhm.
Ugh, he's just so disappointed with him. Oh, gee whiz.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's just carrying on. Oh, that's so disappointing. I think Tuesday these horses will be doing some up bounce banks.
Unbelievable.
You know, there it looked like the numbers were right and the horse just didn't focus on the bank enough.
So Victoria Garland is home and finished with an unofficial clear. And we'll catch her time in just a moment. Mark Grandia is on course right now. Mark comes forward into the cross country with his score of 35.5.
Oh, and here Joe coming into the field in front of us and clip clop galloping away. Oh my gosh. Took a real big flyer there.
You getting nervous on me?
No.
Goodness.
I like things being within the ballpark. I would have said that one was a little outside the ballpark. Coming around.
It's amazing because he knows this horse so well. This horse has been going with him forever. It's an interesting. It's just so sad that he just had that mistake.
Yeah.
You think he'll go straight?
I mean, yeah. It's Joe. I mean, I think he might just. You know, again, the same thing. Like, he's had this horse forever.
It's 18 years old, this guy.
Yeah.
Ugh. So here we have Mark Grandia. Well, not sure what's happening now.
Are we? I was just at a
He just made a circle. I'm not sure what.
at a table there. I'm not really sure.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah. I mean, it worked before.
Boy, oh boy.
Yeah. So we'll have to have a chat afterwards and see what happened there, but maybe Ruthie will meet him at the finish with a beer. Because the horse is full of running, looks great.
Yeah.
Jumping great. All right, so we should have Mark Grandia and his horse coming into our line of sight here soon.
So Mark comes from the West Coast, I think. I don't know him actually, but he's done all the competitions out west, Spokane and Twin Rivers and Galway.
And I think it's
Aspen,
Rebecca Farm.
Event at Rebecca Farms. The horse is owned by the Rebecca Farm, Team Rebecca. And it's a 11-year-old Holsteiner gelding by Camaros.
Ooh, just did a little peck there. Yeah, I watched this horse a little bit yesterday in the warm-up, and it looks like a really beautiful type. How old did you say it was? 11?
It's an 11-year-old.
Just a really classic stamp of a horse, so I was excited to watch him jump today.
Now we should have, I would think that Lady Chatterley is on course.
That's my one hope here. I'm going to go 10 seconds overtime.
Really?
No, 16 seconds overtime.
Well, he will know what he has to have overtime.
Yeah.
He's sitting on a 29.5. So he can be about 30 seconds over and still be in the lead. Here's Mark coming into our view, coming into this final field.
Nice.
Not the final field, the penultimate.
The
Penultimate field.
penultimate field.
Horse has a nice big gallop. They're seeing this distance off the turn, just fantastic. That nice big long one.
Really
Whee!
nice. Really nice. Fun to watch.
Yeah.
So he'll wrap around to the ditch brush here. And looks like a super horse. Really smooth. This is actually looking like it's going to be a really fast round.
It's a fast round. It's faster than any of the others.
And I mean, he didn't even take a check coming to the table in front of us. Same to the ditch wall. This is a really nice shot there. Comes around to the gates in front of us that have been riding really super until he heads into the last field. And what was his dressage score?
35. Mark Grania is 35.5. And he, let's see, I've got him at 6 minutes right now. Time is 6:20. There's Lady Chatterley. For Great Britain.
All right. What have we got there? We've got Leslie in the backfield going towards that big open oxer.
Oh, Mark doing the
went
corner
straight.
easy. And now he
Really
lands
nice.
kicking. He's going for this time.
Yeah, this horse is a beautiful gallop and
Yeah.
really efficient and soft in the bridle. He's been able to move up or wait just very patiently. So he just has this big table, and then you immediately have to turn right.
Just riding out of a great rhythm,
Yeah.
balancing without us really seeing the horse slow down at all,
Exactly.
unless necessary. And that's what really efficient cross-country riding should look like. Well,
He's just slicing in, yeah,
he
good.
really wants to be on that time.
Well, it's all there for the taking. I mean, yesterday a 35 might not have felt like it was within reach, and today it is very much so. I mean, I would pretty much almost give that my round of the day. I mean, that was pretty smooth.
Same here.
There's 7 on the way.
You know, it just seems like if you get the 7, if the 7 is nice and you can move up to it just a little bit, then the bounce works
This
out
was
great.
fine, yeah. But it is quite a bowing out, waiting 7. It looks like Leslie's taking some of that Florida moss with him. So Leslie is, I believe, our last horse in the 4-star.
Yes, he is. And we're just going to wait on the time on Mark.
So just 45 seconds over the optimum time for Mark Grandio with Tempari and
45 seconds.
penalty points provisionally to add to the overnight score. Leslie Law from Great Britain with Lady Chancy, the only ones on course right now.
So it's like 16 time.
As they head now towards 16.
So Leslie and later Chatterley coming in these big double corners, and then he'll open her up here. And this is a very fast horse, but she
Look at how
definitely,
fast she's going. She's
yeah.
beautiful.
And I think in the beginning we saw Leslie taking a little time. She is a mare that does know where the barn is. So I think the beginning of this track, I think, is making sure that she is on task, because she's not lacking a bit of talent. I mean, she jumps, she gallops, she moves, she does all of that. But like all good mares, she definitely has some independent thoughts.
But it's a good horse to be fast on, because you're always saying, go on, go on, go on. But she holds her balance really nicely.
Coming away from the road,
He almost cuts across the pond there to make that turn. Almost swam with the alligator there for a second.
And make no mistake about it, there are alligators
Yeah.
in this part
They've
of the
been, they've been
world.
photographed.
Didn't they say they had an alligator in the chicaner they had to chase out?
Oh my goodness.
They heard that. And a big one, too.
Yeah, that'll just make all the horses I told you so's come out.
Yeah, right? I knew it. I knew you people looked crazy.
For years. There are definitely monsters in those things. And now he's really opening up her gallop now. You know, and that's the thing with this track I think we've seen across all the levels is that the first minute you can go fast, and in the middle you just got to get done, and then you can run at the end. But it's you know, it's really
I hope he
tricky.
goes straight. I think if he wants to win, he's got to go straight. There's just,
Come on, Leslie.
come on, boy. Trust yourself.
Ooh. Oh, good job.
Yeah.
I just had a little shoulder
Awesome.
action there.
Awesome. Good for him.
And now he's really saying, come on. Every second here, you know, like I don't think they're going to be in the time. I don't think anybody's going to be in the time, but every second counts. So
Sure
it's
does.
every turn, every check.
And there's really no more difficult combinations. It really just is about the time
Yeah,
now and
exactly.
how efficient can you be. And always the big question at this level: when do I take my first pull in front of the jump?
You
How
can
close?
see just stayed up so
Yeah.
he could slice in on
How
this
close
turn.
can I be?
Yeah.
Go on. Have to wait and see what the time is. He wants it.
Yeah.
It's a lovely name for a horse, isn't it?
Lady Chatterley. Really nicely done. Super.
Super. Good
Yeah.
for what good riding they had, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I think overall, a real success. You know, I mean, it's challenging enough. Some options taken. The time, obviously, the biggest factor in the course. And that damn up bank for poor Joe.
Yeah. Stay tuned because we will be listening to what Nico says about Lady Chatterley's time and see if he gets the win leading up into the show jumping. Good for him. Second fastest time.
12.4.
12.4. So 12.4 added to the 29.5, and I believe that that's going to be good enough at a 41.9, and I think that Let It
Wow.
Be Lee is on a 42 something.
Wow.
So it's going to be a very close competition tomorrow.
Yeah. No, that's a really exciting day.
So, well, that was just fun to watch, wasn't it? And really great exercises within the course and great riding to watch. I think that it's going to be really interesting tomorrow watching the show jumping.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think that was an excellent challenge. I think everybody here can give themselves a pat on the back for a job well done with their inaugural first CCI 4-star short here at the beautiful Terra Nova. I think the horses and riders look fabulous, and look forward to the rest of the afternoon of cross-country competition.
And the CCI 4-star, this division we just watched, was sponsored by B&D Builders. B&D Builders, they're the proud sponsor of the inaugural event here at Terra Nova, and they're located in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. They build fine equestrian facilities that will exceed your expectations. They've built this stable that is on the property that's just stunning.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen the inside, but I've seen pictures, and it's just really quite something. I can't wait to see the inside. And just after this event is over, they're about to start the building of 200 permanent competition stables
Oh my goodness.
that will be ready for next spring.
I'm moving in.
Yeah. You can see B&D Builders' craftsmanship, creativity, and attention to detail in their very own equestrian arenas here at Terra Nova as well. And they have a tent here on the property, vendor's tent, and you can go to them and start designing your barn of your dreams with them and see.
You know, and I remember coming down here a year or so ago when everything was getting built and speaking to Hannah, and I've never heard this about a contractor in Florida, but they were ahead of schedule.
Yeah, that
the
doesn't
barn.
happen.
Especially
when
they
they're
were trying to figure out what to
Especially
do
when
because
you
they were
know
ahead of
we
schedule.
have had a supply chain problem.
Yeah. So I think they were thrilled with the work that they had done, and I just remember thinking, my God, I have not heard that in a long time, that they were trying to figure out what to do because the horses were going to be ready to move into the barn, I think a month ahead of schedule. So definitely, if you're looking to build a masterpiece, I would give them a call. All right, so
The next division is going to be the CCI 3-star short. Starts at 1:35 with Devin Brown on Celtic Mark.
I think we'll probably be a little behind because I think we're about 15 minutes late starting the 4-star, and it looks like they're out moving flags and changing jump crew around. But I might pass off this microphone here to my good friend Lauren Kiefer, who has been a champion all morning around these tracks. I can't wait to hear her thoughts on the venue. And Karen, as always.
Well, I want to thank you very much, Sinead, for coming in and joining us.
My pleasure.
We really have had an exciting weekend, and I hope that you'll come back either later on this afternoon or certainly tomorrow for during the show jumping.
Absolutely.
So,
all right. Talk to you later.
thanks again.
I can probably turn it off. Did it!
So we don't have an exact time for the start of the CCI 3-star, but we do know that they've got to change. They were already supposed to have started, but they had a late start, and so I'm guessing that it's going to be in about 20 minutes. So why don't we try to meet back here about 15 to 18 minutes, and we'll be good to go. Until then, thank you very much for watching. Bye.
Bye.
Welcome back, everyone. We are now to the CCI 3-star short here at the event at Terra Nova, the inaugural event. So not a very big class, the 3-star short. And this is the first rider is Devin Brown on HC Celtic Mark. She comes forward from their dressage with a 34.4. She's coming down to the Oxer at number 10. So that these few fences are in between the two water jumps. I'm very lucky to be have Lauren Nicholson by my side here now. Welcome, Lauren.
Thanks for having me.
You've had a very good weekend. Good morning.
Yeah, so far so
Nice,
good.
nice good morning with
Yeah.
the 2 horses and
Three
horses.
Yeah.
Pardon me, and well placed with all.
Yeah, they were very good. Got a lovely group of young horses, and
And you just recently got back down here to Florida this
Yeah.
week.
very tired. But it's been really awesome last couple weeks. You know, we made a point on the calendar to come to Terra Nova and see what this lovely facility is all about.
Quite surprisingly elegant and stunning, huh?
Yeah, it's amazing, and they've thought of a lot of amenities, and obviously not only this location and the setup stunning, but a lot of little things are thought of, like little solar lights on the trail through the woods to the campground and things like that, which is
And every detail. It's just
Exactly.
really remarkable. I was noticing on my way into the stable office this morning at 7 o'clock that they had wrapped the railing with an autumn theme of little pumpkins and all this stuff. I mean, it's just all attention to detail. But here we have now Michael Nolan starting, Bad Moon Rising.
I feel like Michael's had a lot of experience with this horse, and so he should have a good round. I think he's a pretty quick Irish rider.
He's also had a good start of the day. And so here he's come forward on a 32.3.
This is a super cute horse with the little spots.
Yeah, it is called a Pinto. It's but Devin, she has this horse and a couple of others, and it's a very similar track to the 4-star, but different jumps.
Yes, and the track. Mark Phillips obviously did a beautiful job. He's got a little bit of experience, and then they've really thought of how to deal with how it sometimes can get pretty dry and hot here in Florida, and they have amazing water guns throughout the course to keep the footing good. It felt really excellent on my horses, which is always well thought out and appreciated.
Boy, Devin's horse is so clever, isn't
It's
it?
really cute. She had a big jump over that rail, and he still came right back to her down that hill
Yeah,
to set up
it's
for
lovely.
that corner.
I've seen some wonderful horses, and I've also seen some terrific riding today.
It's always very nice to see.
There over 21. Meanwhile goes Devin Brown with HC Celtic Mark. 21 is going to be the
She's
cabin.
headed home.
Yeah, she's only got 2 jumps left.
To the mid table.
So the Mim Table 3 jumps, and the Aqueduct Brush, and the Terra Nova frame. And here we're back to Michael Nolan.
Looks like he's having a pretty efficient cruise around. I think this horse has a really deceptively large step, so it'll be interesting what his time is. So he doesn't look like he's rushing, but could be a lot more efficient than we think.
Time on this course is optimum time of 5 minutes and 25 seconds. There's 30 jump efforts, and the distance is just under 3,000 meters. So they're traveling at a pace of 550 meters a minute. But that's your average pace, isn't it? You've got to be going pretty lickety-split sometimes between the jumps in order to catch the time.
For sure, and especially this course, there's quite a bit of turning and efforts, and which always takes up time. So I jokingly made a comment to Sinead when we finished. I felt like I went faster around the 1 star than I did at Fairhill last week.
Right.
But, it's, when you have a long format, you have pretty much the same number of jumps, but a lot
Longer
more
distance.
galloping time to make up your time between them.
Well, I think there are a lot of jumps in a very small area at the moment. But when I was talking to the owner, Hannah Harry, just a couple minutes ago, and we were in the golf cart together, and I said, so tell me, what did this property look like when you first bought it? And did it look like bush like over there? And she says, no, pointing me the other direction. She goes, bush like that. And she said, with the first time Mark Phillips came, he went into the woods, into the bush, and came out completely, as one does in Florida, all those sticky pricklers all over his body. And that was, I said, so that was what, 4 or 5 years ago? She goes, we haven't even owned the property for 3 years yet.
Oh, wow.
And we see all this open land and this beautifully seated galloping track, and it's really remarkable. So I'm guessing that with the vast property that they have, they'll keep clearing and keep opening up the cross country so that it won't be quite so twisty later. And here's a person that has put as much into the effort of this property as anybody is Sarah Murphy.
Yeah, she's really advocated for it and been so involved, and it's so lovely that the owners have reached out and had really good help and been open to advice to make this property what it is. And it's an incredible venue. I'd say it's pretty risky of Mark to wander out in the bush in Florida, though.
I think that he probably was not thinking straight, because one thing's for sure in this area, it's not a question of if they're alligators, it's just where they are, because they are here.
We could have lost Mark out in the bush in Florida.
And stupid
Never
me,
be found.
yesterday my dog really likes to go swimming, and there's a little pond out in front of the barn, and so I said, do you want to go swimming? And he kind of got his feet wet, and then I saw these two eyes coming towards him, and I was like, whoa, 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 no, you get away from my dog. And picked him up, and he's not going near there again. There was.
I could see you wrestling an alligator, Karen.
Oh, I would go right in there. I would go right in
there.
there and say, "You let go of my dog."
I can see that. Sarah's having a lovely
She
ride.
sure
This
is.
such a good jumper. Lovely pace.
Oh,
Ooh,
super!
good
But
going.
see how she gave the horse room? She slipped the reins to the buckle and just kept their hips swinging and let the horse jump around that.
Absolutely. And let the rein slip so that once the horse got there and she knew he was going to peak a bit, that she didn't interrupt his shape. He
Yeah.
still got to use his shape, jump in nicely, and then kept his balance to carry out
I think
really
that's
well.
that fox hunting she did as a child in England when she brings out that thick British accent of hers.
Very true. Yeah, a little bit of fox hunting will.
So this double Munchkin horse she's had for a while, and she's had some great success with him, and he's having a wonderful round
Yeah,
today.
it's beautiful. And I don't think she's actually had much opportunity, it sounds like, to walk the courses. She's actually been working so much,
Yeah,
helping with the
yeah,
property.
she did mention that. So we don't go the wrong way. Here's Michael Nolan.
Or John Holling.
John Holling, my mistake.
I believe this one's leading the class, yeah?
It is. It's on a 29.6, winning after the dressage. Second is Sarah on a 31.4, who is just right here in front of us now.
She's having a really lovely round, and it's always nice to see when she just rebalanced the horse, didn't have to change the pace a lot, rebalanced so the horse had options coming to that oxer and jumped it beautifully out of stride.
So he's a 13-year-old KWPN gelding, and Sarah's had been riding him since 2019. She took over the reins from Sable Giesler, a Canadian rider.
I think John Hollings produced this horse for a while, if I'm correct, and taken his time to, bring it up to levels. It's a really lovely horse. It's nice.
There's Sarah going down to the skinny.
Very good.
I have my records back to John in June of 2019, and that's when the horse was an open preliminary horse. So he's had the horse for quite a while, and you're looking at the benefits of having been in a good program for a while.
No, he's fine. I don't know what you think. You ride it a little bit.
A little bit. Everyone's fine.
The more time you kind of spend with them at prelim, and at that level, they get all the questions asked over time that then once they're super confident they're moving up to intermediate and advanced, they're just kind of rolling at that point.
Well, and if they have the scope and the talent and all that, the intermediate ends up the level that you're at the least.
Yes.
If they have that kind of upper level talent. The preliminary is exactly what it says it is. It's
Yes.
the preliminary level of training.
Yes.
And intermediate is the way up to the advanced level.
Totally agree. And I really, as much as, the last decade, I think the courses have changed a lot. And as the horses have quality of horses have improved, so has the questions asked on the course. And I've found the modified level to be such a useful level producing horses. Starting to ask the, little bit bigger questions and tables, but still at a height that the horses can get themselves out of trouble if they haven't missed
Yeah,
up.
absolutely.
John seems to be having a very good ride. The horse has obviously had mileage and seems pretty experienced, and I can imagine John wants to be competitive.
I would think so. He's pretty competitive and
Yeah.
all the time.
The horse isn't overly strong, so he's not having to fight with it much to set up for jumps, which would be very useful on this track because it is a bit twisty-turny. So the less time, it's not always about the horse that can run the fastest, but the horse that pulls the least, so to speak.
There's John coming down the lane on the perimeter of this field.
Right out of stride. Really nice.
That's great. Just a wonderful rhythm there. Now he has the ditch and brush here. There's been a couple of horses throughout the day take a peek at it, but it's riding quite well. Did you?
Yeah, I was. A couple of mine even kind of peaked. They wouldn't all have seen it. You don't see a ditch and wall super often at the 1-2 star level anymore. But I think I would love to see more courses that had the kinder, smaller types of ditch and walls as you move up the levels, so that it's not such a big gaping hole with a wall behind it once you're going intermediate.
Well, I think that having lived in England for the 5 years that we were there, it was very obvious that in England they have the ditches and walls and the ditch and brushes and all that and the chicaners and everything early on in the course at that novice level, but their combinations are easier than our combinations.
Yeah.
We have a tendency to not do the big ditch and walls, and then the combinations are the meat of the course.
Yeah.
And over there it's just the opposite.
Yeah.
And so they learn to increase their gallop as they're coming to those chicaners or to their ditches, and then the softer combinations, they allow the horses to learn and to get confidence about that.
That sounds about right. They've been doing okay.
Here we have John again on Pioneer Archibald. We're kind of going back and forth. It's not a very big division. This time we have 8 people starting.
He doesn't look like he's rushing home, so
No.
maybe.
We'll have to listen to what his time is.
I think this is Caitlin Slezak, is that right?
It looks like, yeah. Certainly got the colors.
Yeah. Her and her husband Carl Slezak riding the same colors. And I think
And the horse is Fernhill Choco Royale.
I think she's produced this one for a while also, if I'm correct. I think she
you are.
likes this horse a lot.
I think, it looks like Carl rode it for her once in 2018. Maybe there was something going on then. Maybe, did she have children yet or anything?
I
No?
don't think so.
No? Well, then he just rode it one time. And
Just the once.
just the once.
I don't think they have kids.
No, it's all the way back to 2019. Yeah, she's produced this horse.
I'm gonna be honest.
So-
I don't notice many children.
John's 29 seconds over the optimum time. 29 is just under 12, isn't it?
Yes. And he's probably aiming this horse for the long at Tryon, so maybe he's just making sure he has a nice smooth run to get ready for Tryon. Sometimes at this these upper levels, you don't always want to hammer at these horses for the time. Whoop. And then, you know, you want to set them up so that the longs you can be as competitive as possible. I'm sure he has a plan.
Right out of stride there for Caitlin.
I was a little worried going around that pond earlier that an alligator may come out of it.
All right. I believe that is Sam Tinney.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's
very good.
It is indeed Sam Tinney.
She rode around earlier on an old ride of Sinead Halpin's Cuddy Sark, yes?
Yes, Cuddy Sark, and had a nice clear, and now she's on Glenbrook Cooley. Lovely mare that she has had for quite a while now, and had some great runs on her. She's riding really well this weekend. Over the table is Caitlin.
It's a cute jumper.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. Dead straight.
Yeah, and the mare really keeps her balance, and Caitlin gives her a great ride.
I thought this jump was quite spooky when I walked it.
Oh, it has. Well, as she just pat the ground again, didn't she? Just hold on a second. I want to have a look at this. This is weird looking.
It is weird looking.
It's got a lot of bright blue under it, and
yeah, it's interesting because it's frangible also, but it looks like they built it on a wooden platform, maybe to make it easier to move around or more stable. But the bright blue, it gets them up off the ground. She cruised through the water very easily.
She's riding. She's having a great rhythm. Whoop.
Ooh,
where are you going? Yep, now I'm on it.
I would say those Tricaners are a bit spooky. They have the creek running underneath them. I think the word got back to the horses that alligators are wandering around them. They're a little spooky for Tricaners. I'll give them that. And you're going into the woods under the trees and the Spanish moss. You know, it's always interesting when you have new courses like this that no one's been on, you know, kind of figuring out the landmark features and, you know, how the horses read certain areas, and, you know, it'll be interesting going forward what Mark does with the track as it also expands out into the surrounding land, too.
Yeah, and he'll have, you know, certainly a reflection on how the whole weekend has gone. We're looking at Elisa Wallace on Riot Gear. She's already been around once, and she's having a good round so far. Here we're watching Sam make her final turn to the stick pile.
Very nice.
Jumps that beautifully. Looks like she might have had a little bit of a long distance, so that didn't want to add the extra stride because that would have met it on the decrease. So she kind of did the right thing, you know.
Yep.
Went to the stick and stuck to her guns.
Yep. Sometimes, even if you're not on the perfect one, you got to commit to it.
Yeah. She's wasting no time getting through that second water. Elisa Wallace with Riot Gear, and now Sam is riding Glenbrook Cooley.
It's nice to see towards the end of the course like this, a lot of times horses can get strung out, especially going downhill to something, but they're all really kind of landing off this gate and rebalancing, and the riders are rebalancing to jump that corner really lovely.
Yeah. So she's nearing the end of her course. Really riding out of a great rhythm with this mare.
Yeah, it's lovely. The mare never kind of gets low or out of balance, which are the easiest ones to gallop out of stride on, because they just, if you're always in a balance, you'll always see something. Hypothetically.
For sure.
That's what my trainers told me.
Did they really? What do they know?
I haven't. I've heard a lot about Riot Gear and seen her on the scoreboard a lot, but I haven't had the opportunity to watch this horse go before. They all seem to be peaking a bit, that roll top drop into water.
I think it's the shape of it's a little vertical on the front of it, and so the horses need that extra bit of neck to be able to wrap around it. There she is.
Mark uses a lot of corners around this course. And all the courses. He had 4 on the 2-star. But it's really nice, and in the 1-star he had quite a few corner questions, but they were all presented very well, and he also always put them on a line where for the greener horses you could bow it out and make the corner easier, but if you had a horse you were thinking about moving up, you could challenge them a bit, take a more direct line, and jump the corner at more of an angle, which it's always nice when the course designers kind of give you options to get the best rides out for the young developing horses, but also you can make the question more difficult to either challenge the horse. Whoop! I think
she's
almost went the wrong way.
Oh, she's gonna be so mad at herself for that. That took her an extra 5 or 6 seconds, which she didn't want to use.
Oh, that's a bummer.
That was another rider in the last division did that.
Oh no! It did get a bit confusing because some divisions you go clockwise around the pond, some of them you go counterclockwise, and I think she's ridden across a few divisions already,
yes.
That wasn't easy. At least she caught it. A few seconds is a lot better than TE. Very nice.
That's really coming up nice, isn't it?
Yeah, they're having a beautiful shape over that corner.
So she's getting to the end of her course. We'll see how her time is. Raya was in a tie for second after dressage on a 31.4 with Devil Munchkin and Sarah Murphy. So it's going to be really, really interesting.
It's going to come down to the time.
Yeah, and then, of course, Devin is the last to go, but she's got to get off of the one horse, and Celtic Mark and get right on Hickstead. Okay. Actually, it looks like she's withdrawn Hickstead.
Oh. Yeah, looks like she's withdrawn.
Yeah.
That's what it says on here.
So.
We're almost done then. It's going to come down to the time. I don't think there's been any trouble we've seen, yeah?
Not that I've seen.
Which, it's the inaugural event, and, Mark will obviously have just been wanting to get a good read on the competition while at the same time presenting enough questions that you've done the level, but, he wouldn't want to make anything. I think he said 10?
10 penalties for Elisa, so that's actually very quick.
Very quick.
Yeah, so that's it for the FEI classes. Now we have Open Intermediate, followed by Open Novice and the Novice divisions, and then the Beginner Novice, and finishing up with the Starter.
There were some pretty cute ponies in the Starter dressage yesterday.
Boy, they were taking the show, though. I mean, we were trying to watch you big guys do your dressage, and I have to say that the little pony with the girl with the pigtails and the pink ribbon, she was like, there was no contest.
Yeah, I would rather watch the pony dressage, to be honest.
It was adorable.
Way cuter.
So each one of these divisions is sponsored, and the sponsorship for the 2-star is Blalock Walters.
This was the 3-star.
And the 3-star is by Sons Insurance.
Ah.
I knew you knew that.
I knew that.
Let me tell you all about Sons Insurance here.
I cannot wait.
I'm sure.
We're actually looking for insurance. We're closing on a rental property.
You're closing on a rental.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have to do for insurance to close on a rental? You have to have...
That's a really good question. I left that in Sam's hands.
Oh, I see.
If I have to decorate the place, he can get the insurance, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
I mean,
fair.
there's the pink jobs and the blue jobs. And they'll be coming up with the scores shortly. We'll get those to you just as soon as we get them ourselves.
You can see some of the great volunteers right out there. and Eric Bull grabbing flags off the course just completed. That's one thing we've noticed here at this event is the volunteers have been and the staff have been very knowledgeable and super helpful, which is always nice. It's always amazing how many people step up to help out and make these competitions run.
And they really have a good time. We've had great weather, so it's been a nice day to watch beautiful horses.
It's been lovely. And they've been putting on really fun evening get-togethers and dinners and such, bringing back the competitors' parties.
Yes, so this division was sponsored by Sunz Insurance, and energy comes in many forms at Sunz, and that's S-U-N-Z. Their positively charged people provide outstanding customer-centric service and custom workers' compensation insurance solution. Since 2005, Sunz has continued to provide policyholders and partners unparalleled value and technologically advanced solutions for workers' compensation insurance. From sunset to sunrise to sunset, Sunz is here as a constant beacon of light guiding the way to the safest and best insurance available. Contact them today to feel the power of Sunz, S-U-N-Z. And it's always something you have to really take into consideration is what kind of workers' compensation insurance do you have for this particular type of industry. And it's very important.
Yes. Adulting is hard.
Adulting?
Adulting.
Is that what you said?
Adulting.
Yeah. Very
It's
much
tough.
so.
But
So we watch these horses jump through the water and then jump into the arena. And those arenas are absolutely beautiful. They look like you get good purchase off the ground
yeah,
going
and
through there.
they really, that was one thing I noticed them last night. They were rolling that arena you ran through, so there was there wasn't a big change in the footing going from the turf outside to
Really?
the arena. Yeah, so it
Well,
didn't
let me
get
tell
really
you about
deep.
those arenas.
Please do.
Those are Worley Martin sponsored arenas, and Worley Martin Premium Equestrian Surfaces is proud to be the official arena designer and builder for Terra Nova Equestrian Center and the stables at Terra Nova. They're based in Wellington, Florida. Worley Martin Premium Equestrian Surfaces provides arena architecture and installation, site preparation and construction, custom footing and equestrian facility products for clients throughout North America. Your horse's health, soundness, longevity depend on the quality of your daily training surface. So contact Worley Martin Equestrian today for a quote on your outdoor arena, your covered arena, or your galloping track. And they can be reached at worleymartin.com.
They are great. We have several Worldly Martin footing or arenas that we ride on, and they're excellent. And they make that right balance of not getting too deep, and a lot of horses can be on it without needing rolled.
But they do it from beginning to finish, and then they have continued even more continued attention after.
Yes.
And they do the irrigation, and they do the site design and the everything, the different surfaces, the layers of surface that are necessary. And then these arenas last a very long time.
Very long time. And I think there's a few people that, you get what you pay for, and I think sometimes if you try to cut a corner or two, they've always ended up going
Regretting
to
it
Worley
and
Martin to
getting
go
it
fix
back.
it.
Yeah, for sure.
Mr. Wardley owned a little bay mare used to ride.
He certainly did, that we both rode.
Mm-hmm.
Veronica was imported from, I think from the Netherlands. It's a Dutch KWPN, wasn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Scott Keach founder, and Scott and Sharon were
And
partners.
he show jumped her before Miss Mars bought her, and then I took the ride.
Team Rebecca.
Yeah, Team Rebecca.
That's right.
Sorry.
That's right.
And yeah, she jumped a lot of courses, that mare.
She was a war horse.
A war horse.
She's a war horse. She still won't quit. I show jumped her all summer
Yeah.
at the lovely WEC.
Well, I wanted to ask you that because you had talked about how, coming down to Florida and you're here sooner and everything, but you also came down for about a month in the summer. Tell me what led you to want to do that as opposed to finding show jumping up in the Virginia area?
Yeah, I found it an extremely valuable month, and my show jump coach Scott Keach was going to be down here for the summer, and WEC was running, and at first we considered going to, a lot of times people go to that jumper show at the horse park during the summer or down to Tryon, and then as we kind of decided, rather than do that for 2 weeks, we could just come down to Florida and the horses could still go out in their own paddocks and we could spend a whole month. But it was very valuable time spent, and it worked well out timing wise, because as we all know, the summers in Virginia can be pretty hot and the ground hard and a bit miserable. So it was nice. A lot of the WEC arenas are air conditioned, but it was we came down with 7 horses, and WEC was running at full speed, but not a ton of competitors, so we were able to do a lot in the big grandstand arenas, which was great atmosphere for the younger ones. And the older guys did a lot of really big classes, and it was just excellent practice. And I think the more you watch and the more technical skills you can gain in other sports, definitely carries over to the eventing.
There's definitely a lot to be gained by practicing the dressage and the show jumping, both at home but in competition, and not necessarily have it be part of an eventing competition.
Absolutely. I did the math, and I had done, in those 4 weeks, I had done more show jump rounds than my entire eventing year combined. And I didn't show them a ton, once or twice a week, but it was very valuable time spent. And the ability to, have the freedom to practice, try out new things without doing it at a horse trial when you're a little bit unwilling to try something new and sacrifice your
Well,
placing.
that's the thing, isn't it? You're practicing, and there's a lot of encouragement from the other show jump riders. You get to know all the riders pretty quickly, and they're very encouraging.
Very much so. I think they get quite entertained by us eventers branching out, but they're very supportive. If nothing else, every eventer should do a few show jumping shows just to see how efficient they run their warm-ups.
Absolutely.
And how few warm-up jumps you actually need to jump.
And how the entire sport nationwide in the United States needs to, I think, at every single level, fall into the same type of they have at the horse shows.
Yes.
And I think there is a pushback that not everybody feels like they have a coach at the competitions, but not everybody has a coach at the show jumping either.
No, not at all.
But
and
you do know
to,
somebody, and people share jumps, but they fall into a very clear pattern as to how to warm up. There is no talking for the most part. It's very, very, very quiet. And that gives the riders that sort of relaxation before they go into the ring, that it's not like, chaos.
Yeah, and the horses. And, just I think, realizing how few jumps the horses actually need to be confident to go do the job, because you've done all the practicing at home, and that's very much their mentality behind it, is you've done all the practicing at home. You're just jumping a couple for the sake of it and then get in the ring.
Absolutely. So another kind of cool thing that's happening this weekend is this charity team competition. And I see that you're on the Southeastern Guide Dog team.
I am. I have place in my heart for the puppies.
For sure. Did you get to choose which one you wanted, or you were just assigned?
We got to choose. They
Wow.
reached out to all the riders and had some recommended charities, and you could choose which one you would like.
So the 3 charities are Southeastern Guide Dogs, Meals on Wheels, and then Smart. And the Smart is... Okay, now I've got to...
I know, it's slipping my mind.
It's coming, though, because it's all stands for...
You have a lot of paperwork here.
I do have a lot of paperwork.
I am impressed.
But it's pretty cool. The first one gets $10,000 as they add up all the things.
That's very
Smart is the Sarasota Manatee Association for Riding Therapy.
That's right.
And their mission is, at Smart, we empower lives through the healing power of horses. Through therapeutic horse-related programs and activities, our Smart riders and their families' quality of life is significantly improved. and they are celebrating 34 years of service in this community alone.
That's excellent. That's
Amazing.
We have Jacob Fletcher out now. You can
We
kind
are-
of recognize his style anywhere.
Sure can, starting the Open Intermediate National class.
And I believe the 501 is his label on them. Is it also? I know he's bred quite a few also, but I don't know if the 501 is just on the ones he's bred or just on all the horses he rides. But he's got a nice type. Him and Cornelia have kind of started getting a business set up in Florida, and I think they're in Florida year round, or do they still go to Arizona for a bit? Or Arkansas.
Well, Arkansas is where Jacob grew up.
That's right.
When I first met him at a clinic, and then he came east for, remember when we did our O'Connor winter camps? We used to have camp in Ocala at the farm between Christmas and over New Year's. You're laughing. They were quite fun. We had a lot of good riders.
Yeah. Jacob, yes, he's been, I think everybody has probably a funny story about Jacob. He's a character.
He is a character.
But
And a caricature.
Yes, but he's very, very talented rider, very kind guy. He's got some really lovely horses coming up, him and Cornelia both, and this one doesn't seem to be any exception. Really lovely over everything we've seen so far.
He's a very elastic rider and very supple in his body. He's got a lot of length to deal with. Like many of the tall riders, they're so long from their hip to their knee that they run out of room in their saddle.
Yes. Yep. And actually, that was one thing that was pointed out to me early on in my career by yourself, was to pay attention to how still the tall riders have to be with their upper level body, because it has that much more effect on the horse's balance to someone that has a very short shoulder to torso.
Yeah,
So-
we get away with a little bit more because we don't have that range. We're not like a really tall
Pinned
tower.
on top, exactly. So, I mean, I think if you think about giving someone a piggyback ride, the shorter person would be a lot easier than a taller person. But now Cornelia's chasing him around the course on her own Daytona Beach 8, which is a super lovely mare. I think she's a little spicy, as all the best ones are, but I think she is a jumping and cross-country machine from what I've seen in the past. And I think Cornelia really thinks a lot of this mare. And she's in the intermediate, probably just having a cruise around before a fall 3 day. I know this mare's in several 4 longs. And Jacob's just jumping right out of stride
Super.
over this oxer.
That was great. Great ride over that oxer. On his way to the ditch and brush.
Jacob spent some time, a couple of years, I believe, over in England with Kevin McNabb.
Yes, that's
Which
correct.
is where, Jacob already a little bit had this style, but really adopted it after riding with Kevin. They have similar body types. But, the nice thing is Jacob's very soft, as Karen said, and he really doesn't interfere with the horses and what they're doing and their shape. So the horses all kind of really nice shapes over the fences. They use their whole body and neck. He obviously still has plenty of gas left in the tank when he's spooked at that little table in the field. Oh, it has a red ribbon in its tail. Must be a kicker.
Something like that. So it's interesting because if you look at Daytona with Cornelia, they have done the CCI 4-star short a couple times. They did advanced. They did the CCI 4-star long at Jersey Fresh this spring and finished that. And then she did OI, and she's done a couple of OPs with the horse this autumn. So it's interesting. She's going up and down the levels a little bit based on probably the mare's confidence.
Interesting. And maybe, I know the mare is always, the difficult phase seems to be the flat, so maybe, she's being smart, taking a step back, trying to do a level where the dressage is easy, and trying a different tactic with producing the mare. Because I think the mare, from all appearances, has all the movement and scope and everything else, so
Right.
maybe she's worked. This is hypothetical, but
Could be.
And some horses do better, especially really careful ones with going up and down. We've all had a few like that, and it's always about your specific horse and what sets them up best to be competitive. If taking a step back every once in a while is what suits them, then you do you. She looks to be having a very easy cruise around.
We just heard Jacob provisionally catch 'em all, getting 22 time faults provisionally on the course. This is Leslie Grantlaw getting started on Castle Howard Romeo, and that is a 2013 Irish Sport horse gelding.
I think she thinks a lot of this horse. I think he recently, he moved up to the level in the spring. So he's younger and a little greener at the level, but as the laws do, they produce their horses very thoughtfully and very methodically up the level. So I have no doubt he'll pop around with confidence. He looks very keen. Leslie has a type of very pretty gray horses.
She does.
And there you saw she's coming out of the water. The horse seemed maybe just a bit distracted by that bench was quite bright blue when walking the course. And, just showing a little bit of his youngness and greenness. And Leslie just committed and said, get on with it. And he gained confidence and popped right over. And it's
Cornelia was
another
just
jump.
absolutely lovely through the vertical rail on top of the mound down to the skinny.
Very nice.
And just running right out of a rhythm. And
Yeah.
you're quite right. This horse is, I can imagine she has a lot of hope for this horse.
Yeah, it's very lovely. Seems super confident. Doesn't look like she was flying, but she was pretty deceivingly quick, and the 2-star on her horses also
Yes.
moved up quite a bit,
Yeah,
being quick.
very efficient. Didn't take back a lot.
Mhm.
Just that nice, beautiful rhythm. Nice gallop.
Very nice. So I wouldn't be surprised if she's a bit quicker than she seems. Just she didn't have to do a whole lot to set the mare up. She didn't
There's
waste
Leslie
time.
Grant.
Very nice.
Nice through there.
Very nice through there.
Good job.
He didn't seem too bothered by the alligators. Pop that chicaner very confidently. And I've got both,
Yep.
Jacob has another horse in the class, so he'll have a pretty quick turnaround to get on the
Sure.
next one.
So Cornelia just finishing. 32 seconds over the time for, yeah, so 12.8. It's about the norm for those that are going.
Just having nice rounds.
Yeah.
Not hustling or taking risks, but very lovely, smooth rounds. For a green horse who's not bothered in the slightest by the ditch and wall.
Doesn't even look at it. But it has done quite a few competitions along the way. So it's
So
seen
not
plenty
very
of
green.
seen plenty of ditches.
Beautiful shot over that yellow table. Very nice. And down to the corner. Leslie goes. And she had a very good shot over the corner.
Yep, so she's cantering away, and yet we also just saw Michaela Hoffman from Canada with Eli through the water.
I have not seen Michaela Hoffman.
The horse is a 14-year-old bay gelding from the West Coast, presumably. I have stats on from Kalispell,
Oh, okay.
from Rebecca Farms, and Temecula out in California. Aspen. Yeah, so it's,
He's spending the winter maybe down in Florida.
I think so.
Leslie's heading to the last and through one more. She's had a super nice round with this horse. I imagine it's probably aimed for 3 long this
I would think so.
fall or winter, and he looks very well prepared. Leslie looked like she had fun on him.
Oh, a
Whee!
big jump
Whee!
in for Eli into the water. That's always a fun feeling. Like, oh, thank you.
Good recovery out. She just sat back. She knew she was a bit long, but she just sat back, let the horse do his job, and then got together for the B element out.
We have another starter, and that is Sydney Rovira with Oakdale. Oakdale is a 2006 thoroughbred gelding.
For anyone watching back in the barns, they've announced that they're back running on time cross country. They were running a little behind earlier, but they've caught right back up for the next divisions. She's going very quickly across here,
Michaela.
and then she'll rebalance for this
And
oxer.
a lot of them are just using the turn for the balancing.
Very nice.
You don't see a lot of change in the horse's body, but because it's a great turn off of the straight line, the horses are getting that balance that they
Yeah,
need.
it's really setting them up well.
We've seen many riders just get a little help with their stick at the last moment. Make sure the horse doesn't drop behind them over that ditch and wall.
Now for the mound at 7. This will be the last we'll see on the mound today. Nicely over 7, the mound going to the water for the first time, Sydney with Oakdale.
Sydney's having a very nice ride.
There she is.
This
The
horse
vertical
has a
for Michaela. Onto the skinny. Very good
Very
there.
nice.
Super.
They're really picking up that corner coming off
Yeah.
the mound. Sydney's we saw Sydney through the water, and now Michaela, the horse was very clever there, is in a good balance, so just patted the ground before that cabin.
Then the 3 from home now is Michaela Hoffman with Eli.
Michaela's almost home. She looked like she's putting the pedal to the metal a few places, so it'll be interesting what her time is. Sydney's horse is very cute, very clever
Very
through the
cute.
corners. His face looks very excited to be out here.
Here for the beer.
Yeah.
He's like, step up to the bar. Here I am. He's adorable. Eli's a great strong name too, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice
Oh,
in the
yeah.
water. Ooh, just a little
He
peck
did
out.
want to have a little pony peek at that.
Yeah. Sometimes it's funny, horses can get like this, can be very confident, and then they go, oh, phew, wait,
God, I just scared myself.
sorry.
Points to be added for time here on cross country to the dressage penalty score.
He looks like a very fun horse to ride for Sydney.
Oakdale, Sydney Rovira.
We should see her into this field in front of us
There
soon.
she is.
I bet she goes very quickly across it.
Cabin and 15. Once again, a big thank you to
Very nice.
Martin Premium Services sponsoring our open intermediate division.
This is what Eli wanted to do. Let's run.
Look at him. He's having it, huh?
Through 16A.
And easy boy. Oh, and then I see it. Super, huh?
Good boy.
Just love watching these horses gallop with so much confidence. It's just awesome.
Yeah, and it's, you know, it speaks worlds to the preparation of the footing too. Is, you know, as the horses get to the end of the course, they're still galloping super well. Which sometimes in Florida the footing can be a bit firm, and the horses get a little bit, you know, they're not opening their stride as much as you'd like, but this footing's so lovely for them. They can trust it because it's not slick, but it's nice and cushiony enough, and they're galloping so well across the field.
Yeah. Yeah, so she's at 28 over the A, and now the B. Oh, she's got a nice big one there. So Sydney Rovira and Oakdale are making the clubhouse turn to home. Up. She's just
Efficient.
efficient, yeah.
Efficient.
No need to jump any higher than the jump.
As long as he knows the difference tomorrow on show jumping, that's just fine.
Horses are smart.
They're smart.
Safety over 22, 2 from home.
Some of them. There's a few.
Intermediate for Sydney Rovira with Oakdale. Into the aqueduct right, and the turnover break.
I
And
think
she is just about to finish.
he
over
is
this
full of
intermediate
run.
course. Yeah, he sure is.
I imagine there
And
must
over
be a
the
little
last.
bit of a hold before.
They will have to. The
Jacob.
open novice starts at 3:05 on.
We still have Jacob on over.
I don't see where Jacob has a time.
Oh.
And I don't see where he's scratched either. But he's not unless he's going novice. All of a sudden, I don't see where he is.
And the number 9 Oakdale was in the Rovira, had the best time around. Just 11 seconds.
So Sydney was the fastest of all of the intermediate horses with only, what did they say,
11 seconds.
11 seconds over.
End of this world lead.
So that's 4.4.
In the premium services sponsored intermediate division will be on to the IOA sponsored.
That's who I had thought was going to be winning that division, by the way. We were just looking at the leaders of the 4-star and Jenny Jarnstrom, and see, because Sinead and I had a bet who was going to be the quickest.
I missed the
And
bets.
she bet on Leslie, and I bet on Jenny.
Well, you're winning.
I'm a win. She's going to love that. That's why I went. And then, of course, Sarah Murphy, she's in third, and those are all within a rail of each other, the top three. Let It Be Lee with Elise Wallace is in fourth, and then Leslie Law again on a 46.8 in fifth. Kyle Carter, Ready or Not, is in sixth. Nilson De Silva in seventh, and Mark Grande, he had a very good round. He was in eighth. Megan Marinovich Burdick is ninth, and rounding out the top 10 was Robin Walker on SBT Barola. She had a lovely round on Crosby's Gold, but she missed the yellow roll top after the ditch and brush.
Oh no!
She cut before the retention pond and came back to this mound jump.
Ugh.
And she finished, she didn't even know it.
Oh no, that's the
Poor thing.
worst.
And she was really flying. She was having a great round.
Oh.
So that was very sad. But them's the rules.
That's true. There's nothing worse than when you don't even know that the jump existed.
I do, going back to living in England, I remember I was in a very, very competitive advanced class, and it was actually at Althorpe, which is the home of Princess Diana, and we were coming around to the last, and they had all the last jumps in a row, and I was going as fast as I could, and I just sliced into the one that was on the rope, and it was the wrong one. It was the intermediate.
Oh no!
And I had gone the fastest time for sure, but
That's painful.
I got the biggie. So I think that what we're going to do is we can break to have a little bit of a commercial. We don't yet have the scores up for you. I apologize for the CCI 3-star short, but that will be coming fairly quickly, I would think. They're working on it as we speak. And then we look forward to having you come back to watch the novice sections. And we have quite a good strong group of novice cross country that takes us for almost an hour, and then we begin the beginner novice, and that rounds out the day with the beginner novice, and then finally the stars of the day is the starters.
That will definitely be.
And that will
the
also be on live
most.
stream, and it looks like it's going to be probably about a half an hour for that division.
That'll be the one to watch.
Yeah, for sure. So come back and see us, and as soon as we're ready to roll, we will be back with you.
You've been on for a while.
I think